Please rise and face the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you to the young people in the front row who were belting out the Pledge of Allegiance. Good evening, everybody. Let's start with the roll call. Callie?
Cheryl Armstrong. Here. Jeff Branson.
Here.
Dave Earp.
Here.
John Hedges.
Here.
Ashley Overton. Here. Jacob Uphoff.
Here.
Dale Ryder.
Here. Good evening, everyone. If you have a phone, if you would be kind enough to either put it on vibrate, silence it somehow, or turn it off, that'd be great. Also, if you would like to address the board, that's toward the front end of the agenda. There are speaker slips just right outside of this room. I have four. I have four now. And we will call those in alphabetical order. So we will go to item 2 on the agenda now, reception of visitors, excuse me. Item 2.1A, it is the board's and administration's, and quite frankly, the entire staff's pleasure to recognize a teacher who works at the LIFT facility who has been recognized by the Illinois State Board of Election Education as receiving the Award of Excellence in Teaching, and that is our very own Chris Brown.
thanks, A, that someone nominated me, B, that I won it. Really, my message would be, I am just one of several great educators we have in this district. And my challenge would be to the board, our administrators, and everyone here, and anyone watching online, that all it takes is someone nominating, because we've got a ton of great teachers in this district that deserve the awards as well. And my challenge to all of you would be nominate someone next year. Let's have a list, because if you look at that list, Cook County has a ton. Let's make Coles County have a ton as well.
Item 2.1B, I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Schaefer and let you run the show.
It's the slideshow on the far left. Oh, no, sorry. Okay. Yep, that one is.
Oh, this
No, this is it. That's it.
Okay, hang on. Sorry, everyone. Okay. Okay, hi, I'm Rachel Schaefer, and I'm a fifth grade teacher at Williams, and I was lucky enough to receive a grant from the Southeastern Community Foundation in order to get a recycling program started at Williams School. I was working with Heather, she's the director at the Easy Recycling Center, and recycling actually wasn't my main objective. It was to get my fifth grade students working with students who are at the Life Academy in part of the Easy program, and to start working with students who are different from themselves. And when we went over there at first, you could just tell that my fifth grade students were kind of a little bit in shock and awe. But they have built tremendous relationships with the students who do work at the Easy Recycling Center. And I kind of want to turn it over to Armani and Kylie, who have been kind enough to join us here today, so they can share a little bit about their experiences. So whoever wants to go first.
Hi, I'm Armani and I'm a fifth grader in my Schaefer's class. I love all the students that we work with. I love seeing how they were laughing, and it makes me want to laugh too. Seeing the students, teenagers, and teachers were the best part.
Hi, my name is Kylie, and I'm a fifth grader in Miss Schaefer's class. One of the best things about going on the field trips was the opportunity and to be there and work with people like Troy and Liz. My favorite part was crushing cans and getting the opportunity to see all people.
I'm Heather Hughes. I'm the recycling coordinator for Easy, and we were lucky enough to have them come over. It's really rewarding, like when you have fifth graders that come in, kids that are older elementary, they're very hesitant to approach people with disabilities, whether it be Down syndrome or autism, CP, whatever. They're always very hesitant, and a lot of times it's just because they haven't been around people like that. So a way of doing this, me and Rachel talked, and we decided we would pull these kids together. And when they walked in, they were starstruck. Like, I don't know how to act. This kid's over here saying this, and this kid's doing this. But then over time and pairing them together, our kids have the ability to become mentors that they normally wouldn't get that opportunity. These kids get to be around kids. Sometimes they're older. Of course, my kids go all the way up to their 22nd birthday under special ed. So although they are older, sometimes a lot of these kids are more on their level. And it's nice that they have a kid that they can sit there, they can talk to, they can talk about video games, they can talk about hair, they can talk about fashion, different things that are coming along, but it gives these kids the opportunity to be the teacher. And they are all supervisors when these kids come in. These kids can't push the buttons on the machines or things like that, so my kids get to go and work with them. So this is Michaela.
Hello.
And this is Cardan. And these are two kids that we wanted to come in. Michaela is a student where?
at the Mattoon High School. I am a senior there. Technically, tomorrow is my last day of the school.
Michaela comes to us Monday through Thursday every afternoon, and she is our queen bee, and she is large and in charge, and she tells everybody what to do and keeps everybody on their toes. What was your favorite thing about these? Well, Michaela looked forward to the days that these kids were coming.
Well, my first time seeing the fifth graders working, I will always be helpful for them, helping them if there's like a heavy load of cardboard, or if one of the cardboard gets stuck or stuff like that. Sometimes I let them help me, like with the where we had to squish the bottles before squishing them with the whatever it's called, pressure plate.
Yeah.
And that's my favorite part. Sometimes they make me laugh.
So she's talking about we at our building we accept number 1 and number 2 plastics, which is like water bottles, Coke bottles, laundry detergent, milk jugs, things like that. It's part of the kids' job. It's when they come in. These kids get to experience it. They have to sort out what is the appropriate recyclable and put them in the appropriate containers. After that, they get to take them over to the plastic baler, which these girls love to work. They have to pour it in. Of course, Michaela, being of age, is able to actually, she's learned how to run a hydraulic machine and how to run it all the way through.
Yeah.
So while you could see on the slideshow, they were dumping stuff in. So they get to go in there and they help with that. And then we have a cardboard baler, and that's also another hydraulic machine. And they turn around and they have to sort out the corrugated cardboard from like single ply cardboard. So they get to go through and do that. This is Cardan.
My name is Cardan. I'm a Mattoon student, but I go to TSC Humboldt. One of my favorite things at recycling is being able to help with the other kids.
What's something that you've learned about yourself, like coming in there, that like you never knew that you could do?
Just how to use the balers and learn how to use those.
And what do you want to do after you graduate? Because you're only a sophomore, right?
I don't know, run my own business.
We hope to expand. So I'm taking on a new role at the district, the school next year. So I told Heather I won't have a class of my own. I'm going to be a power teacher, which is a math special. But I hope to run a before school club recycling program and then expand it to 4th and 5th grade, just so we can get more students able to work with kids like Michaela and Cardan, because it's been such a rewarding experience for everybody.
Mrs. Schaefer, thank you to you and your presenting team. That is a welcome reminder that here in Mattoon, we believe in the principle that every person matters. Thank you. We're going to move on to the next item on the agenda. That's 2.2, non-agenda. That is the public speakers. I have 5 people who have submitted slips. They're all on the same topic, without surprise. Before we get started on this, I would like to say something. And this is, I say this as the father of 2 boys who are currently on the wall of fame. So there's probably not going to be anyone in this room, or quite frankly anyone, who is affiliated with this district at all, who is more interested in preserving the tradition and preserving the recognition that those athletes have achieved. And I'm sure that the 5 speakers feel that way. I appreciate, as did the rest of the board, all of the people who signed the petition on the Wall of Fame. I'm grateful that you did that. But we have a problem. We have a space problem. And it's a solvable problem. There's more than one way to solve the problem. And I think tonight we're going to hear a presentation from the athletic director, who's going to talk about some options that we have to solve the problem that we have to solve, and we look forward to further input from members of the public, looking at these options, maybe helping us decide which one is the best option, maybe coming up with an option we haven't thought of. So I just want to start with that and say thank you in advance, particularly to the petition signers. So we call public speakers up alphabetically. Lisa Clapp, she comes first.
Hello, everybody. I'm Lisa Clapp. I provided you with the petition and the 1,083 verified signatures from the Mattoon community members that want to preserve the traditional physical Hall of Fame at Mattoon High School. You can see the signatures are from coaches, teachers, alumni, parents, many, many students. Today, you have a great opportunity to show hundreds of Mattoon students that their voices matter and that being engaged in their community can make a real difference. About a year ago, during the gym remodel, concerns arose that the Physical Wall of Fame was going away. When I asked a couple of board members about this, they said this never came to a vote. They explained to me that the old wall would remain, new inductees would be digitized. Mr. Duckett confirmed this information. I was told also that there wasn't enough room, but we see 100-foot hallway just begging for something to be on them between the old gym and the new gym. Lots of space. Yet for the past year, that digital display has rarely functioned and recent honorees went without recognition. While this was frustrating, it gave the community time to speak up, and they did. Within 48 hours, we had 750 verified signatures with a united message to preserve our school tradition. We've also watched the Green Wave logo fade from use over the past year, replaced by a block M on athletic net and other platforms. This change may seem small, but it impacts community identity and pride. We were told the wave would remain, yet it's becoming nearly invisible. Our ask is simple. Resume the Physical Wall of Fame where it left off. Create a policy to preserve it moving forward. There is space, there is support, there's a deep sense of pride in honoring our past and inspiring our future. I've seen firsthand how aspiring to be on the wall of honor, like the Summa Cum Laude wall, can be a springboard to great achievements on the high school walls outside. It's only fair to allow the same for our athletes. If we have a Summa wall, we should have an athlete wall. It's not electronic. I'm sure tonight's presentation will be impressive, but I hope you'll also remember what the 1,083 signatures represent. The voice of your community speaking clearly and respectfully about a tradition that matters to them. We ask you provide a written response to this petition to allow those that signed it to be informed and to know that their voices are heard and valued. Thank you, and go Green Wave.
Andrea Gregory.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Gregory. This is my husband Brett and our daughter Lily. Lily's freshman year at Mattoon High School started in the fall of 2020. COVID had just hit in the spring and remote learning was in full swing. Although Lily's sport of choice was soccer, which she would play in the spring, her dad and I worried that she may become isolated and inactive, so we made her sign up for a fall sport, and she chose tennis. She has never had formal lessons or instructions, but that fall she came in at number 6 on varsity, and by her junior year, with help from her coach, had escalated to number 1 and qualified for state. At state, she endured a grueling 2.5-hour match in 40-degree temps and won. Immediately after the match, her dad and I were approached by a D3 college coach who expressed his interest in Lily. For the next year, he pursued her as a recruit for his team. Finally, in December of her senior year, she committed. She was also contacted by the soccer coach at the same college and offered a place on the team, which she declined. She has just finished her first year playing D3 tennis on an amazing team of 12 girls, but of which the coach only plays his top 6. Lily played number 3 doubles this year and consistently played number 4, 5, or 6 in singles. Her coach will tell you to this day he did not pursue her because of her skill level or technique. He recruited her because of her endurance and the fact that she was a multi-sport athlete, which he says he prefers. So why am I telling you this? because all of these athletes have a story, and each of them has worked hard in their respective sport to succeed and earn the honor of Hall of Fame. Every one of these athletes deserve the recognition that they were promised, which is their physical plaque hanging in the hallway near the gym. If changes must be made to this tradition, it should start with this year's nominees and only after serious consideration of the community input from tonight's meeting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Lily, very impressive. Third up, Kim Prince.
Hi, I'm a graduate of Mountain High School, and for exposure, I am on the ball field. I wanted to give a perspective that, it's a very thing for me, of course, but when my family comes in to the conference games from Lincoln, they make me go up and we all do a family photo. It's a baccalaureate, my son's graduating. And we go to baccalaureate, and there we go. We go over to the photo. And of course, I'm not the last one to go, but it's an anchor. It is an anchor to this community that we can bring to our families, we'll bring to our children, hopefully my grandchildren, my cousins, second cousins, their families. When my son was in wrestling, it's such a tough sport, the little bitty 5-year-olds, and he would get stressed out and maybe he couldn't win every game. And imagine we run to my and we start reading. Just read, just calm down. And it was an anchor. It was an anchor to our community. And because I got there through athletics, there's so many great things that people can do in that too. But it just is one thing that is a tradition, and it does matter. It anchors us together. It anchors us as a community and as a Mattoon family. Thank you.
Next up, Terry Stretch.
I just want to say that I'm older, and I think traditions are very important. I think change is also a good thing. I personally don't like a lot of change. I don't know a lot about laptops and computers and all that technical stuff. I wouldn't know how to view a video board. I don't know how to do any of that. I think it's just very important to keep traditions alive in that team. My husband graduated from that team. My 2 children graduated from that team. They're not on the Hall of Fame or Wall of Fame, but they're prideful of graduating from here. And I know so many people that are on that Wall of Fame, and I just think it's very important to keep many of our traditions alive. And that's really all I have to say. So.
Thank you, Terry. And the last is, and I apologize ahead of time if I'm mispronouncing this, Dolo, is it Wishard?
Wisher.
It was 50-50. I picked the wrong one.
I haven't voted for you.
Thank you for your support. What can we do for you?
My name is Dolo Wisher, and I live at 3213 Marion. I'm like 8 blocks away from the Mattoon High School. Been there, lived there for 38 years, remodeled, did everything. Had 6 boys. The 6 boys attended, and my husband attended. My husband is no longer here. One of my sons was killed in a car wreck. 1979, 1980, 1981, 1982, my husband attended that school. This is what I have. This, my son, 2005, was killed by a car, in a car wreck. I said I wasn't going to cry. I lied. But when we walk that hallway and we see those pictures, and as you said, you get to go back in memory, even though it's embarrassing, the big boos and the mullets and the whatever. People from the past, the present, and and for future can be there. Lisa said, 100-foot wall. Put your TV there. Keep the wall. Keep the wall because it's a memory for great-grandpa. Just keep it. Look, my 6 boys almost attended every football game, every track. I've adopted, I have foster kids, 36 of them in my house. Not at the same time. But I'm just saying, these kids went to their school, that school. They deserve that recognition. They worked hard. Athletes, academics, everything, they deserve it. We deserve it. We're Mattoon and we should stick together because we love that wall. And that's what I got to say.
Thank you.
Well, I want to say that I appreciate the folks that stood up today. I think this is an important process that we have built into our system. And for the courage for people coming out today, applying for that.
For those who spoke and those who didn't speak but are nevertheless interested in this issue, and maybe that's why you're here or part of the reason you're here, I hope you'll stick around just a little bit longer. We're going to move through the consent agenda, and then next up will be Mr. Ducking's presentation. So thank you again to the speakers and again to the signers of the petition. Let's move on to item 3 on the agenda. That's the consent agenda. It requires board action. 3.1 includes the approval of the minutes for the special board meeting of April 22nd, 2025. 3.2 under financial and payment of bills includes the presentation of the bills for approval for this month, the monthly financial reports by fund, the fiscal year 2025 budget to date report. Item 3.3 includes the enrollment report. Item 3.4 is the freedom of information report. Item 3.5 is the appointment of Dustin Stolfus as the annual district asbestos inspector required by state law. To appoint someone to that, Mr. Stolfus, you just barely got a majority. Appointment of Ryan Gear as district IMRF authorized agent, another appointment we're required to make by law. Item 3.7 is a resolution authorizing the payment of custodial salaries from operations and maintenance fund for June and July of 2025. We do that because the students are no longer in schools. Item 3.8, approval of the consolidated district plan. 3.9, approval of overnight trips, which includes the MHS dance team to the Universal Dance Association camp, June 16th through the 19th in Champaign, and for the leadership symposium for MHS and LIFT students, July 23rd, 24th, and 25th in Chicago. That is the entirety of the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Okay, motion by Cheryl Armstrong. We have a second by Ashley Overton. Any discussion amongst the board? Calvin, call the roll.
Branson,
Yes.
Earp,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton. Yes. Uphaul,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes. Ryan and Justin. Item 4, new business. Mr. Duckett, presentation on the MHS Wall of Fame.
All right, thank you. I'm Trent Duckett. I'm the athletic director. This is the end of my 3rd year as the athletic director at Mattoon High School. My history, I'm from Shelbyville, not far away. And then my first teaching job was here at Mattoon High School. So I taught for 6 years. I was a assistant football coach, assistant softball coach, became the head softball coach for 2 years. Transitioned over to St. John's, was the principal there, athletic director there for 7 years, and now back in Mattoon. I've lived in Mattoon for 15, 16 years now. So Mattoon is not my hometown, but it is where my adult life is. It is my kids' hometown, right? So let me first and foremost tell everybody that I wear green and gold every day to school, right? If a kid sees me in blue or navy or whatever, they're like, what's wrong with you? Why are you wearing that? So I want you first and foremost to know that I care deeply about Mattoon High School and Mattoon athletics. That's my life, right? I'm the assistant principal. Most people don't know that because I don't advertise that a lot, right? I'm the athletic director. So what I want to do today is I want to talk to you about where things stand with the current hall, and make sure that we talk about the hallway of what projects we have done in there, and what projects are coming with that. Because I think for most of you, as we talk about history and honoring history, you will be thoroughly impressed with how much I care about history. I didn't mention that I'm a history teacher. I was a history teacher. So history is what I love. I love that stuff, okay? What we want to do, or what our goal to do with the wall, and it's not a 1 year thing where we can just highlight everything that we want to do in that hallway in 1 year. It's work that we have to do in finding pictures and memorabilia and all the stuff that we want to do to be able to recognize our former athletes. And so this project extends further than what we might call the Hall of Fame, which in past times was called the Honor Wall, which is where the plaques are, right? So when you think about the plaques in the gym, and I guess I'll use my slide arrow. Okay, this is the hallway that we call the Hall of Fame, right? It's called the Hall of Fame as you enter down. And we'll talk about the new items that are there, but this area down here is your plaques. These on this side over here is your individual plaques. There are 261 plaques. Not all of those are individuals because it includes relay teams from races. It also includes some like doubles teams, whether that be tennis or some pitcher-catcher duos in there. But there are 261 plaques on the wall as it currently sits. On the left side over here, you can't really see it, but those are the teams. And teams get up there by winning conference championship or advancing in state in the postseason. Right? So that's where those pictures are. I will tell you, in my 3 years as the athletic director, nothing on that wall has changed. Okay? The only thing that has changed is that gap right there. If you went to school there, you may remember that was a cafeteria door that got closed in. So that's why that space that looks like maybe, well, did they take plaques down? No, we didn't take any plaques down. But that wall has not changed. 261 plaques were there whenever I started as an athletic director. Okay? But what we have done so far, we have relocated and updated our record board. So hallway, I believe, just so that I'm addressing the right things, Lisa has talked about the hallway between the main gym and the north gym. That's what we call it. New and old gets confusing for kids now because now they think the old gym is the new gym because it's the one that got redone, right? And the new gym is 24 years old, so it's not even that new. But that hallway currently has our record boards, and they're just white pieces of paper. They're about this big on that wall, further down at the far end as you close in on the ROTC hallway with health and driver's ed. So what we want to do is we want to get those up into the hallway where people see them, right? Because records are important. Athletes do try to break records, right? So as we look, and there will be a slide on it, but we'll talk about the record boards which are now there, which have been updated to the best of our knowledge. And so I'm going to ask for help at the end of this too from people in the community as well as we work together. But so we have the record boards, the other area down there that we'll talk about, which is more of our current students, but also has history and school spirit in it as well. So we'll look at those areas as we go. So here is your record board that is now relocated. It's got every sport that we compete in and competitively with the IHSA, right? So all those records are there. They are the exact records that came from the wall down. I have not added any records. We have not made any choices to change or dismiss or remove anyone unless their record was broken, right? If a record's broken, the name changes. That's the essence of setting records, right? So you will see that every sport that we have is up here on this board, right, on this wall. They get updated yearly. We're not going to, as soon as it happens, we're not going to run and have a new panel reprint. So they'll get reprinted at the end of the school year so that by the next fall, they'll be up to date and ready to go with the past year's included records in those. We have had records broken this year, right? Whether that be wrestling records, and we most recently had Zion Johnson in track, triple jump, broke the school record. So she will be included, added to that list. And we're very proud of her as a sophomore and look forward to continue to break her own record for years to come. So what I do want to note on this, there should be an asterisk here. okay? But we're not actually gonna put an asterisk on the wall. But these are records as best kept by the coaches that turn them in, and they are best since 1994, right? So before that time, some coaches kept really good records and turned them into the athletic office, and we have them, and some don't. So this is the best that we have in our record keeping. I have had people that come up and they see this wall, because now they're down there and they look at it, and they say, that record's not right. I've got proof of it. I say, you bring it in and show me. And if they bring me the newspaper that's got the season records for Mattoon High School, absolutely, right? So I've got some changes to the basketball board to make, because I was alerted to some records that were not correct, right? So great. I want to work with you all on that. I want it to be right. If we make up history, it's not really history, right? So I want it to be accurate and as best we possibly know. But to my knowledge, these, unless I've been notified of them, are the best that we know, the best records that we have today. Okay? This wall. So this is the wall in between the cafeteria doors. Again, in my time at Mattoon High School, so all the way back to 2009, nothing has ever been on this wall. It was always just a blank wall between those two doors. Okay? What we wanted to do is we wanted to encourage our current athletes who, if you notice social media, Instagram, whatever, it's cool to see yourself being involved, or your teams, your friends, your thing. So we wanted to create what we call a green wave mosaic. So it highlights current students. It highlights our school song, which is nowhere else in the building that you can find it. So it highlights our school song, and then it highlights our student section, because they are a big part of the body and the spirit and the energy of our school, right? It is more of a modern look. If you look at athletic facilities, whether those be college, Division I college, Division II, Division III, whatever, it is a more modern look than maybe some people like or are interested in, but it does catch eyes. Like what you said, people go to look at the pictures. People go to look and see. So what you're going to see over the next year and a half are a lot more photos, because photos tell stories. Trophies, they can tell a story, but pictures tell more. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, they say. So when you walk in that entryway into one of our games in the next year and a half, you're going to be blown away. Okay? There is one school that I look to. If you've ever been to Centralia High School, has anybody ever been to Centralia High School to a basketball game or a volleyball game or whatever in their gym? It is one of the most amazing Hall of Fames you will ever see in a high school. Okay? And it is my goal to make ours. They have a lot of space. They have a lot more space. Like it's a whole. Their gym is a whole other thing. So, but it is my goal to make our space as welcoming, inviting, and interactive as what theirs is. So I want to tell the story of Mattoon High School. Okay? This wall is essentially just kind of an entry wall into that space. It highlights the renovations that we have done at Mattoon High School. We have the nicest facilities in Central Illinois. Football field, track, baseball field, soccer field, tennis courts, main gym, and our auxiliary gym is very nice too. Okay? So it is an entry piece. Again, it may not be exactly everybody's style, but it's something that is more of a modern play on what's going on in athletic facilities. So Hall of Fame, entering, got that. Talk about future projects. So we have 5 trophy cases at Mattoon High School. We actually have 7 if you count our freestanding ones that are over by the athletic office where our dance trophies are. So we have 5 trophy cases. This is where you enter. This is the first thing you see. Ticket booth. We have our state placing trophies here. We have some conference championships and regional championships over here. And then we have our 3 main cases down the hallway, which are filled with trophies. Some you can see, some you can't because they're buried behind other ones. So what we intend to do is we want to do a trophy case refresh. So anything that gets into the trophy case, gets on the Wall of Fame, or into one of these trophy cases, is written down and has been written down since 1974 when the Wall of Fame was started. We follow the same rules, same guidelines. Nothing has changed to those guidelines. Okay? We also want to create entry location labels so people know where to go. So you would be amazed how many people want to know where the bathroom is at Mattoon High School. So we're going to do better with wayfinding so we can find our way around, where visitors go to sit, because it's a long walk down there to get to their side. So we have a lot to do with this front space, and you're going to see a lot of photos, a lot of energy, a lot of things that draw you in and entice you, right? And then the last piece here, and the big piece with the idea of the Hall of Fame or the honor wall is we are not going to. Where we're at. Oh, sorry. There's the TV. There's the TV. Right? The other two walls. Now, this wall, and we'll talk about it later. This wall it used to just have an M painted on it, right? There used to be an M painted on that wall. The Hall of Fame started in 1974. Sorry to just jump off, but Hall of Fame started in 1974. There are 261 plaques. The physical plaques are gifted. So in Lily's case, Lily, I'm going to use you an example, okay? Lily was, in 2020, that practice was changed to where they went and they were digitized, as Mrs. Gregory said, right? So Lily still received her plaque, right? Lily has her plaque that looks just like that on the wall, and then she was digitized onto the TV, all right? So everybody pre-2019, 2020, I think, because that was the COVID year, 2020 are physically on the wall. Everybody after is on the TV currently. Okay? No plaque has ever been removed. Again, that gap right there used to be a door right there. These are the requirements. Again, neither of these have ever changed since the inception of the Wall of Fame. Okay? Any questions on that? So what we want to do is, it is not, I agree with everybody that Mattoon and people involved in Mattoon should have a part in what we do, all right? So what we're going to do is we're going to create a committee, all right? We're going to create a committee that analyzes and looks at what we have, what spaces we have, and comes to the board with a recommendation on what we should do with going forward with our honor roll, with our Hall of Fame, okay? So it would not be right for me before this committee meets to stand up here and tell you, well, we could do this and we could do this and we could do this and we could do this, because then it wouldn't really be a committee decision that worked together to create something to best share and best represent Mattoon High School going forward and our athletes. So what I'm asking is, if you are interested, to contact me and reach out and say, hey, I'm interested in being a part of this. I want to be in those discussions. Because what we expect to do is we expect to explore ideas and solutions for the Hall of Fame at Mattoon High School. We want to review individual and team criteria and monitor success and fairness of the Hall of Fame to make sure it's representative of all. As we add sports, what does that mean, right? I had a group come and talk to me today about bass fishing, right? So that's cool. If we can get it done, we'll get it done. I'm very excited about that. So what do those requirements look like? How does it make it different whenever we move and prepare ourselves for the future? And then we're going to develop a vision to recommend to the board. Okay? So, timeline. The expectation is that we have the trophy cases, the Hall of Fame, the column, that center column, and our collage walls done before volleyball season starts on August 20th, I think, is our first home game. So we need that committee to meet, and we need to get to work on what we want things to look like, so we can make the adjustments over the summer. While the kids aren't there, we can get any work done that we might need to get done while we're there. Later, we will add a digital database. So we just purchased called a light box, is what I'm told, to take pictures of all our trophies. So every trophy will be digitized, and that way we'll know. Because a lot of trophies just disappear. Like, the coach keeps them. If it's not a first place trophy, according to the policy, it doesn't go in the trophy case. Only first place trophies go in the trophy case. So those second, third place trophies, we'll still digitize those and have those for record keeping. We do expect, and I do apologize about the TV. TV has not been great, and we continue to work on that. And I think what we can do is make that a robust experience that you can share that with family members that can't come in the hallway, because you can find that online. You can get to everything on that. So when we get that up to date, there will be more things on there that you can show and share. Okay? So that's kind of the goal for the next 1.5 to 2 years. It is not going to be a quick job. It is not necessarily a hard job, though. It's just having conversations. And so that is what I want to do. We want to work together. If you have memorabilia that you want to, what I'm really looking for is like an old Letterman sweater or Letterman jacket, like I'm talking 1950s, 60s. If you know anybody that's willing to let us share that or show that in our trophy case, that's one idea that we have for our trophy cases. Please reach out. So the high school's phone number is 217-238-7800. You can email me. It's my name, Trent Duckett, at mcusd2. trentduckett@ncsu2.com, or you can stop by. And I'm happy if you stop by the office, that I will walk you down there and show you anything that you want to and talk your ear off about it. Because then again, as a historian, I've looked and I've got a pretty good understanding of our history and the athletes that we have had grace our hallways and our gyms. And I'm very proud of them too, because that's what I do. That's what I care about. Athletics is my dream. That's my dream job. That's why I'm here. Okay? So, board, I really talked to them and didn't pay any attention to you guys. I apologize. Yes, ma'am, sure.
Do you have a limit on how many community members can be on this committee?
I mean, I think to have a productive group, if you get more than 10 to 12, that's going to be a lot. We want to get some varying stakeholders. So yeah, I won't. If there's people on that petition that want to be on that, absolutely want some of those people that are staunch. Keep it or keep it going. Let's restart it. But we want people to be open-minded when they come to those conversations and really talk it out and make sure we make the best decision going forward. Because someday, 50 years from now, probably won't be in that same building. Be my guess. Maybe we will. But things will be different in 50 years. And that's what we have to be adjusting for is the future. Things will be different in the future.
We are not looking to pass the referendum. Started high school.
Board, does the board have any other questions for me?
I would encourage anybody that's interested in that to reach out to you though, because I want a committee that has the interests of Mattoon Greenway, the high school, the athletics. I want our programs to be as great as they can be. So if you have a dog in this fight, get a hold of that, please.
I'm not afraid to talk to any of you. Promise. Okay. No. And we can even have a difference of opinion. I'll still talk to you. It's fine. I mean that's good. That's what I'm. I hope the kids don't think I'm scary. Try not to be. Mr. Kimbrough's a scary one. I'm not. He's bigger than me. He's got a beard. But yeah, I appreciate the time. Board, I appreciate you reaching out to me and putting this together. And if you do have questions, please reach out. I'll give a shameless plug real quick. Your kids, we have the signups for our 3rd through 8th grade camps that are free. So we've already got 200 kids signed up for our free summer camps. So we're really excited about that. That's exciting. And then also we had a meeting today at the high school for our returning, our kids that are currently freshmen through juniors, our athletes. And we had about 165 kids in attendance where we're talking about next year what summer programming looks like so that we can continue to get better and carry on the Greenway name to excellence and success. So I'm really excited about that stuff that we have going too, but this stuff's just important to me as well. So thank you for your time. I took too long.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5 on the agenda, reports and recommendations of the business manager. Whoop, wait a minute. Oh, sorry.
There's a 4.2, I think. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll sit down.
Sorry, I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too.
Item 4.2 under new business, change in date and time of the special board meeting scheduled for June 30, 2025. As those of you who watch the board meetings regularly are aware, the board had a conversation about moving what in the past has been the noon meeting at the very end of the fiscal year in order to prove the final budget, and that it's always been in an effort to comply with the State Board of Education's desire to get the most accurate numbers possible. There's been some discussions on the board and with members of the public that the problem with the noon time is that it's prohibitive for some people who would otherwise attend the board meeting. So what we've decided to do is move the meeting back a day and park it at the normal time. We would have a board meeting to allow more people, if they so choose, to come and attend. So this would be to change the date of the special board meeting scheduled for June 30 back to the 29th, 27th. Friday the 27th, thank you for the correction, at 7 p.m. Okay. Any questions from board members? Is there anybody who disagrees with doing that? Okay. Jeff, you good?
I'm good because you were gonna be. I did not know.
I also have a comment where I can zoom in if the rules allow.
You good?
I'm good.
Okay. All right, thank you, everybody. Now, Mr. Gear.
All right. All right, we're gonna stick with sports. Um, All right, 5.1, board action to approve MHS football stadium sponsorship. So we've done this before. So this first slide is about board policy, 4.150, facility management and building programs. Outlines this process. So the board president appoints a special committee for this. The committee's consideration of naming nominations. The committee will make a recommendation to the board and provide supporting rationale. And then we're here to step number 4 tonight, the board action to approve the naming recommendation. We did this a little over a year ago with the MHS gym, called it KC Summers Court. So we're going to talk about something similar today. Just to kind of get us to pass, on June 14th, the naming rights procedures were discussed with the Board of Education. In 2022, a committee consisting of internal and external members was created on November 1st of 2022. The board approved the naming of the basketball court, KC Summers Court, on February 13th, 2024. And then we've had our special committee has met again on December 27th of 2024, and again on March 10th of 2025 to discuss sponsorships and conditions, donation amounts, and potential partnerships. Now, Katie Haney, one of our communication specialists, has put together an amazing website, because we've had, I don't know if I'm gonna do a link on this slide. So Katie's worked tirelessly on this. We've had people ask, like, how can I sponsor things? How can I get involved? How can our business do things like this? So Katie has put this website together with the help of her team, and it's basically, it's ways that you can sponsor or partner with our school district. So there's sponsorship opportunities, naming rights on facilities, collaborative partnerships, and fundraising events, donations, volunteer opportunities. We also have a couple links that if you want to make donations. So here's some opportunities maybe in different school buildings where we can do some sponsorships as well. Again, I just encourage you to go to this website and look. One thing I do want to plug is we have a great thing that I believe in, the Nancy Conlon Kindness for Kids Fund, that we are able to collect money. We do some fundraising for it, and then we put that money back to help kids in our community. And our school social workers do a great job of helping kids in our buildings. So if you ever want to donate to the Nancy Conlon Fund, there's a link there. It doesn't look like it's active right now, so look back on that. So I just want to do a plug for Katie, and for that moving forward, that there are several opportunities that we can do. I'm not going to be able to figure this out again. Am I good? Am I back? All right. There we go. Okay, so we were approached and communicated with Pilsen Auto Group. They expressed interest in partnering with the athletic department on naming the MHS football stadium. So they would like a 4-year deal. We'd like a four-year deal with them, $30,000 per year for $120,000. I didn't realize how small this prep was until I brought this up today. But these are just what they get, which is very similar to the KC Summers deal. Tickets to events, they get sponsorship signs, and again, the board has access to this, so you can read through all of those things. Now, it's Gaines Field. It would then be Gaines Field at Pilsen Auto Group Stadium. Something to that effect, similar to what they did in Effingham with their football field. So you keep it Gaines Field, but it would be something like Gaines Field at Pilsen Auto Group Stadium. So keeping our history and moving forward as well. We'll talk about it tonight. So on board approval, staff will reach out to representatives in the Pilsen Auto Group and collaborate on signage and getting the stadium ready for this fall. So the special committee recommends that the board take action to approve offering Pilsen Auto Group the football stadium sponsorship. Any questions?
Do you have a motion first to approve the board act, just for the sponsorship 5.1?
I have a question.
Yeah.
First.
Sure.
Ryan, I mean, I know you sent us that where people could get involved Where is that on the website? I'm not finding it necessarily.
Great question. I've only done it by clicking on.
Yeah, I know, that was very easy, you did, but I'm looking for it.
I don't think it's up until after, after tonight, after
Oh, what
after
Katie
we
did,
go through.
that whole
Yeah.
thing?
So Katie spent the last 2 months probably putting all of this information out there based upon the feedback that she's received and working with the networks and other communication across the state, across the region. So it will go live to inform people that want to be involved or gain partnerships with the school district. Because what has happened, as Ryan kind of alluded to, is that following the naming of the KC Summers Court, we've had multiple people reach out to say, what else can we do to do that? And it's not just isolated for MHS athletics. There is a list on that site that allows people to also, contribute in the area that they may be passionate around. So that will come up live probably tomorrow.
And then one other question. I think it's wonderful, I mean, that they're wanting to partner and donate that much money. Were there any other groups that were interested in the high school one for sure?
Well, I don't think in the high school football, but we've had some other groups reach out to some other fields
Soccer, okay.
throughout the district.
I just didn't want to say, well, I didn't get a chance.
Yeah, we got plenty of facilities to go around.
Second. Okay, let's start that again. So do I have a motion to approve the MHS football stadium sponsorship? Hedges, motion, second, from Hoff. Any further board discussion? Questions from Mr. Peter?
I think just on behalf of the board, I'm sure I can say thank you to Coast and Auto Group. I'm not sure that we have a representative here tonight, but just like KC Summers, it's really cool to be a part of a community that wants to get behind their public schools. And to Tim's point, this can go a lot further than just athletics. This just happens to be the first 2 steps, that we've taken. But it's really encouraging to sit up here and to be able to approve something like this. And I think we're all just really excited about what the future can hold. With all those links on that website going forward.
Do you have to buy his cars?
Well said. We want to get this approved before he slips that.
We do not have to do anything.
Okay, with no further questions, Callie, you want to call the roll?
Yeah, Erb,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, 5.2 is what Dale alluded to a little bit ago, the tentative budget, this is the tentative amended budget, which we are going to now approve hopefully on June 27th. Going forward, it'll always be the night before June 30th, but June 30th is on Monday this summer, so we're moving it back to Friday the 27th. A lot changes between now and June 30th. Okay, we are at 80, as of May 1st, we were 83% of the way through the fiscal year, and we had spent our expenses, we were at 82.65% of the budget. So we're right on budget to spend what we set with the budget, so pretty happy with that. The yellow is what we set with the budget back in September. It was approved by the board. Just kind of a rough estimate is the green right now. You can see our expenses right now are tracking a little bit less than what we budgeted for the expenses back in September. And the revenues are coming in a little bit higher than what we budgeted for the revenue. So we talked about in September having a surplus of 321,000. It's looking like we're near 666,000 right now. But like I said, a lot will change between now and June 30th. It changes every day. And my office is pretty hectic the last 2 weeks of June. So there's a lot going on. So this is our tentative amended budget right now, so you can kind of see where we're at and what our predictions are. But again, like it says at the bottom, this will change probably quite a bit between now and then, but things may move around a little bit. Oops. So we need to, just go back. Oh, back one more. There we go. All right, so do we need to approve?
We need to set the amended budget hearing.
Yeah, we need to set the board to set the amended budget hearing. Sorry.
So the board already talked about changing the meeting. Now this is the official board action that must be taken for a budget amendment hearing.
So do I have a motion to set the amended budget hearing for 7 p.m. on June 27th?
Motion.
Motion from Mr. Earp, second.
Second.
Second from Mr. Branson. Any more discussion or questions for Mr. Guerrero on the board?
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Erb,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
All right.
5.3.
5.3, building trades houses. We have talked about our building trades program. Actually, the house on Van Lanningham Drive is going on the market here in the last week. Anybody's interested in the house? Beautiful. The boys and girls are finishing up on the house here in the next couple weeks as school ends. So that is up for sale. But we need to build more. So we are looking to purchase 2 more lots. Lot 305 and lot 307 in Meadows subdivision. This is the subdivision we've been in before, just southwest of the high school. We've actually built a house on 304 and one on 310. The GIS map from the county hasn't been updated since then. So there is a house here and a house here that we have built, and we'd like to build one in there and there for the next 2 years. So $35,000 each for those 2 lots, and it's only a few blocks away from the high school, which makes it very convenient for our kids to get back and forth to their classes. And we would use our CSFC revenue, which is the 1% sales tax, to purchase these lots. And just kind of a broader view, here's the high school, there's a soccer field, these lots are over here, just like I said, a couple blocks southwest of the high school. Okay? So,
Can you fill us in a little bit on the initial price, maybe the conversations with the owners?
So we have talked with the owners, $35,000 price, and we had, gone back and forth with them a little bit on that. They have agreed to make, for each lot, make a $7,000 donation back to the building trades program, which basically would help fund the next houses. So when it comes done, each lot would be $28,000 when we're all said and done. So for tax reasons, for them, the benefits of their business to sell them to us, so. Very good. That's it.
Very good. Any questions on this issue from Mr. Guerrero? Okay.
Besides, I have a question. Besides 304 and 310, have you built any of the other houses
We also
in that
built
section?
309,
309.
yeah, and then this one across 301 catty corner from
Okay.
210.
Yeah, if you move east, there's some houses in both of those cul-de-sacs that,
Oh, okay.
that the building and trades program have built. And then if you continue further east, just behind the high school, there's some building and trade houses that were built there in the 70s and early 80s, so.
Yeah, it'd be nice for us to be able to finish out this subdivision.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the purchase of lots 305 and 307 in the Meadow subdivision for $70,000 from Unique Homes, understanding that there will be a donation for $14,000 coming back to the building trades program?
Motion, second.
Motion from Jeff Branson, second from Cheryl Armstrong. Any further discussion?
Overton,
Yes.
Uphoff,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Erb,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
All right, thank you. 5.4, board action to approve the lease for 1717 and 1721 Charleston Avenue, Mattoon, Illinois, from Jasper Holding Companies LLC. This is the building in the parking lot right next door to our west. We have leased this building from Consolidated Communications since April 5th of 2022. Consolidated sold the property to Jasper Holdings in the last year. So we've reached out to them to continue using that building. So we currently use the building for district maintenance storage, and the lease would be $12,000 per year and will be paid out of the maintenance fund. So the administrative team recommends the approval of lease with Jasper Holdings LLC. Yes,
I have a question. Like, what do we store there?
Lots of maintenance stuff for Dustin. You want to chime in today? I do know he stores his truck there at night. We have a lot of stuff like the big bags of pellets that are for the turf fields that we don't really have a great place for high school. I know those are in there.
Yeah, we got salt for the year, we've got snow plows,
Some cross-country
meters, and then we've got some product that was, left over from lift when it was complete, some extra material that is stored in there right now. So when we have issues over there, it's right there, we just go straight, get it and fix it.
and some infant CPR dolls as
Yeah.
well, that are also in there.
Yeah, we
So,
do, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And if I'm correct, parking spaces are important for, am I making?
No,
Did I recall that correctly?
Yes, that's congratulations. So those parking spaces are included when the city allowed for the rezoning of the old Consolidated Communications property for it to be used for Lyft. So I think there's 8 or 10 parking spaces over there that can also be utilized for parking at Lyft. However, we don't encourage that just because of the thoroughfare of Route 16, but they are available for that purpose.
Other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the lease 717 of 1721 Charleston Avenue for Jasper Holdings LLC for $12,000? Do you have time here? Motion from Ashley Overton. Is there a second?
Yes.
Yes, from, second from Hedges. Any other discussion or questions?
Paul,
Yes.
Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Erb,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton,
Yes.
Ryder.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Gear. Item 6 on the agenda, reports and recommendations of the Assistant Superintendent of Personnel, Dr. Stocy.
Thank you. Board head for the May personnel report. Looking at some certified resignations. First of all, Carrie Ann Hendricks is retiring as Williams Elementary School fifth grade teacher. At the end of the 29-30 school year, she would have served 33 years of service in our district. Teacher and elementary teacher, math specialist, so she'll be missed. Dr. Christy Hill, this is a tough one, is resigning as Administrative Service Center Student Service Director / Assistant Superintendent effective October 17, 2025. 17 years of service in our district as an administrator in several different buildings, and most recently is up here in the central office. She's done a great job for us leading the district and being progressive and initiating many academic changes and systems that we're all very well aware of. Probably one of the best curriculum director minds that I've had the pleasure to work with in my career. So hopefully she'll stay close. Mary Kelly is resigning, Matthew Middle School English teacher, effective the end of the 24-25 school year. Mr. Schaefer is resigning as the LIFT director effective June 30th, 2025. I don't know if I'm getting things here. He's done a great job in our district. Hired him as a first-year teacher. Came back as an administrator and has been a great leader in LIFT community, LIFT facility. But he's resigning. He's got another opportunity to work within the community. So we're happy for him and know we have support him as well. Thank him for his service. Moving forward, certified appointments. Gina Kraft is recommended as Mattoon High School instruction coach effective the 25-26 school year. Ingrid Enyard, we're recommending Mattoon Middle School English teacher at Mattoon Middle School for the 25-26 school year. Kylie Jacobs, recommended substitute teacher effective immediately. Classified resignations. Vivian Hardy has resigned as Rural Elementary School as a 101 parapro effective immediately. Elizabeth Harrington has resigned as Franklin Preschool parapro effective for the end of the 24-25 school year. Gina Jones is retiring at Rural Elementary School. She's been in the district since 05, so 25 years in the district as a supervisor, so she'll be missed and wish her well and thank her for her service. Zachary Montori is resigning as Mattoon Middle School, high school rather, classroom parapro effective May 15th or May 16th, 2025. Classified appointments, Tanya Craig recommending as Rural Elementary School classroom para effective for the 25-26 school year. Zach Huddleston recommending as Williams Elementary School second shift custodian effective immediately. Myra Martin will recommend as Rural Elementary School 101 para effective for the beginning of the 25-26 school year. Haley McPherson is recommended as Rural Elementary School 101 para effective for the 25-26 school year. Michael West, we're recommending, Shane West, as you know, is currently an SRO officer with the Mattoon Police Department, but is retiring, but we're recommending him as Franklin, that should be preschool, building safety, security supervisor, effective for the 25-26 school year. Connor Weber, recommending as Mattoon High School summer tech student worker, effective immediately. Sarah Bedwell, as substitute custodian, effective immediately. Mr. Martin, who is
retiring or resigning as our school safety supervisor, Franklin, recommended as a sub-security supervisor, effective immediately. Macy Waddell, substitute custodian, effective immediately. And you're gonna see a lot of volunteers, because there's a lot of field trips and end of the year school events going on. So, which we appreciate and welcome them, and happy to have them. Going to extracurricular resignations, Jacob Fryman is resigning Mattoon Middle School 6th grade wrestling coach, effective immediately. Extracurricular assignments, we're recommending Mac Beatles as a Mattoon High School musical vocal conductor assistant, effective immediately. He's worked as a volunteer. Recommending Dalton Cotton as Mattoon Middle School 8th grade boys basketball coach, effective for the 25-26 school year. And then Anna Van Hefty, we're recommending as Mattoon Middle School dance coach, effective for the 25-26 school year. And there is an addendum. It's the season. Certified resignations, Amy Lawrence is resigning Mattoon Middle School special ed teacher, effective for May 12, 2025, for the upcoming school year as well. Recommending Grace Stamps as Mattoon High School English teacher, ISB Golden Apple recipient. It's a high honor. She achieved that. They recognized her, so she was requested as an English teacher at Mattoon High School to do her residency with the Golden Apple Group as a state recognized organization, allows us to hire her as a teacher full-time for that while she completes, she has advanced degrees already, but we're excited to have that. That's quite an honor to have Golden Apple residency person in your district. That's effective for the 25-26 school year. Sarah Elizabeth Kimberlin is substitute teacher, effective immediately. Myra Martin is resigned as Brittle Elementary School 1-1 pro, effective immediately. Emily Strader, we're recommending as Administrative Service Center Student Data and Special Education Record Specialist, effective June 1, 2025. Director of District Office. Jeremiah Huffman, we're recommending as Elementary School, second shift custodian, effective May 20, 2025. Some volunteers and some extracurricular resignations. Rebecca Kraft is resigned as Mattoon High School Test Accommodation Coordinator, effective at the end of the 24-25 school year. James Trinko, Phoenix, after that, is resigned as Mattoon Middle School 7th grade girls track coach, effective for the end of the 24-25 school year. Tanner Webb is resigned as Mattoon Middle School assistant wrestling coach, effective immediately. And there's no extracurricular assignments at this time. Are there any questions?
Yeah, one. 5.1D, Myra Martin is listed as a.
Yeah, she's on her twice.
Yeah.
Accepted a job. It's my world. Resigned to 3 days later. So.
Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's how it rolls. That's how it rolls sometimes. John. No, that's a good question.
He says at the tail end. Any other questions for Dr. Stosi? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the personnel report as presented? Cheryl Armstrong moves, second by Ashley Overton. Any discussion?
I'd just like to make a comment to Christy. I had an opportunity to work with you when I was with the Mattoon Police Department. I thought you did a phenomenal job then. And I've watched you grow and work with the school district, and you've done a phenomenal job with the district as you've moved up. And I was really looking forward to working with you. And this is really sad news for me to see you leave, because you're very, very talented. And I appreciate everything you've done for the district, all your hard work and love to put into it. And I wish you all the best.
Yes. Amen. Anyone else want to say anything? Maybe Dr. doesn't cry anymore.
I'll just echo those same comments. It's been a great pleasure. And, yeah, we'll do this. So, congratulations, Grace.
Thank you. I would like to add, I used to babysit for Dr. Hill. And you guys obviously see what comes to the table, but I got to see what she brought home, and this woman worked hours just to do her very best for the community, and she was her own worst critic, and she worked so hard, especially through COVID and everything like that. So not only did you guys get to see the amazing work that she brought here, but also what she did at home, and was still an amazing mom and an amazing wife, and
honestly, she inspired me to get my teaching degree, and here I am. So the legacy continues, Christy. We're not done. So thank you for everything you've done.
Dr. Hill, on behalf of the board members with whom you served, and the staff, and the parents and the families, but most importantly, the students. Thank you.
It's been a true pleasure, really. It's been an honor. Thank you.
Do you want to make a speech or?
No,
Okay. All right. You're about- Actually, you're about to. You're about to. That's exactly right. You're about to. Okay. Now we are through item 6. Let's move on to item 7.
We didn't vote on that.
Whoops.
Please vote on this.
We didn't.
We did not.
We did not vote on this. Would you call the roll?
Quarters. Armstrong,
Yes.
Branson,
Yes.
Erb,
Yes.
Hedges,
Yes.
Overton. Yes. Uphaw,
Yes.
and Ryder.
Yes. It was employed. Item 7, reports and recommendations of the superintendent.
So mine's pretty brief here. Dave, I'll ask you to just pull it up and walk through these 3 slides. But just to offer the board has received the press issue 118 in regards to policies, board policy updates. And just for the public's understanding, the board belongs to the Illinois Association of School Boards. But in addition to that, we belong to this policy reference education subscription service or press. So ultimately, the board receives a copy of this once it goes out to provide them with greater understanding. In addition to the memo, which is about 7 pages, there's also 183 pages of this month's press that goes into greater detail in regards to that information. So I guess to just offer kind of an overarching highlight of what's included, the largest portion of these updates include the reversion of the Title IX, the reversion back to the 2020 Title IX guidelines that were previously updated in 2024. Dr. Scusi's office and our administrative team love the fact that we're going back to the 2020 revisions. It is easier and clearer to understand. But that will be an update that will ask the board to accept those revisions at the June 10th meeting. In addition, there's some information around artificial intelligence as that's becoming more and more prevalent in today's society. It asks that the policy be created upon a committee coming together to recommend how AI will be utilized in our district for our students, for our staff, the board. So that also is included, as well as the ensuring success in school law, which particularly requires districts to ensure they have policies in place to ensure that students who are parents or expecting parents or victims of domestic or sexual violence have access to supports to be able to graduate. So those are the lion's share of that, and the board does have a copy of that. You're able to see all of those. Any questions, feel free to reach out, as well as you're encouraged to also reach out to IASB and our field service director too, that can assist with that. So no action at this time. It sits for a month for the board to review those policies, and then we'll come back at the June 10th board meeting and see action.
So can I ask a quick question? Because I was looking at this
Sure.
over the past couple of days, and there's a lot of different colors. There's red, there's purple, there's green, there's some crossed out. Yeah, all the colors of what is changed.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay. And if it's strike through, then that's gone. I just want to make sure.
Underlined is new.
Yep.
Yeah, underlined is new. Okay, I just want to make sure, because I've never really noticed the different coloring of prints.
Yes.
So, okay, thank you. That's what I needed to know.
Other questions on the board policies? Okay, so the homework, excuse the pun, for the board is to review what's been presented here and be prepared to vote on it in an informed manner at the June 10th meeting.
Yes.
All right, reports and recommendations of other district personnel. Dr. Hill.
Yes, we have so many exciting programming updates, so get comfortable. I don't have stats or longer than I wanted. We've been busy. Slideshow, I think it's up there now. Great, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, Your staff has been hard at work all year, and we have a lot of exciting updates coming for the fall. So tonight we have a group of action items, and I tried to kind of chunk them in ways that made sense. But I'll ask for you to just kind of muster up the same level of excitement that we have at CCC every month to talk about all these changes that we're recommending. So last year about this time, we asked the board for permission to engage in a curriculum audit so we could get some good information on what's working well in our district and where we need to make some improvements. So I've got a quick update on that. Social science. Every year we have one subject area that we review formally and fully. And we come to the board with recommendations for changes to curriculum and also materials for purchase. So this year was social science, next year's K-5 literacy. So tonight we have the final recommendation from months and months of work. I'll talk briefly about what that process looks like. We'll look at our new curriculum map, and then I'll let you see what the materials are. And then finally, we have a lot of course additions and revisions for the fall. Many of them are just in course code. Our friends at Lyft have done a great job kind of auditing and looking for ways to capture more CTE funding. But that's kind of a large chunk of what the presentation will include tonight. So let's jump in. Curriculum audit. So again, the purpose was we voluntarily hired a firm to come join us and look at everything with a set of fresh eyes and say, what are you doing that's really great? And what are some things we really need to work on that might be preventing us from getting the great results that we want? Because it's not for lack of hard work, that I can tell you. So we had this company come in and they identified priority growth areas. Their process was so thorough. I don't remember, guys. It was months and months of documents. I think they interviewed over 100 people. They looked at all of our proficiency scales. They looked at all of our assessment data. They looked at our textbooks. They walked around our schools. And they synthesized all that information to give us some recommendations. And the outcomes were this. First of all, tons of celebrations. The largest thing they said was our curriculum is tightly aligned. What that means is what kids are learning from kindergarten through the time they leave us makes sense in order. And it's tight and connected. And so many compliments to all the teachers and people who have worked on that over a series of years. So that was a huge win. The other win was that there are very engaged administrators and staff. And they noted really strong relationships of teams working together, including the parents that were interviewed and the committee structures. So all of those systems are tight, they're great. The way we're working is awesome. So they gave us 3 priority areas for recommendation. The first priority area was getting really clear on board and superintendent roles. This came up in almost every interview. So it's a really great opportunity for us to get clear on how we're going to work together so that doesn't continue to sort of come up in everything that we're doing, whether it's curriculum or really anything. So that was recommendation number 1. Recommendation number 2 was updating job descriptions. So since the pandemic, we've added a lot of positions. We've got integrated skills rooms, we have instructional coaches, we have technicians that we didn't have before. Our jobs up here have all sort of shifted around. And so in order for us to make sure that people are meeting their career objectives and their job their objectives, we just need to get really clear and tight on some of those newer roles to make sure that we're supporting people and that their evaluations match what they're supposed to be doing. And then the final thing was developing common assessments. And this has sort of been on our Vision 2026 for a while, knowing that we have our proficiency scales, we develop common assessments that help us measure whether or not kids are achieving those targets at regular intervals throughout the year. So teams can sit down and look at that data and say, what should be changed? What went really well? Why did you get the results you got? And why didn't I? I just want to note on this one, these practices are in place. Our teams meet very regularly. I think we need to just continue to support them to have the tools to make those assessments. And we've got a great plan for developing some of those starting this summer. So that's just an FYI. There's no action on this, but we just wanted to follow up with the board because you gave us the opportunity to do that. We're really, really thankful. It's helping us chart a course for where we're going forward. So lots of good things. All right.
Can I?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No.
Okay, I'm really afraid that I'm gonna forget this. On the priority focus, there's 2 areas that I'm curious about: the board superintendent roles and the developing common assessments. what's the thought process about how to address those two areas to
Great question.
comply with whatever comments were made in the audit?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I'll address this one first, the board superintendent roles. I think the theme there was just getting clear on board governance. So what's the board's collective responsibility to setting policy that then impacts curriculum? And I think the reason it came up is because in a lot of the interviews, there were a lot of feelings about things that had been happening and just worry that teachers' efforts maybe weren't meeting expectations, and there was a lot of talk about that. And so in the executive summary, they said, spending some time around that and just being really transparent with the community about, like, this is our job as a board. It's not to write their meeting curriculum or write the building curriculum, it's to hire the superintendent then has a clear org chart and job descriptions and people know what they're supposed to do. And then when recommendations come, if we have questions about that, we'll ask. But just sort of, I think the recommendation was getting really clear as a team, coming together, making a vision, figuring out as a team, what are we gonna do together? It certainly was not to say that the board shouldn't have critical feedback. Your job is absolutely to make sure that the school district is performing well. I think it was more just around how do we, what responsibilities are delegated to the superintendent, and then how do we make sure that our vision for the community and for our schools is clear, and that all the steps that we take, whether it's the Hall of Fame or it's reading curriculum or social studies textbooks, they're aligning to that vision and our hope for the community.
So if those roles are clarified, how does that clarification manifest itself? Is it in board policy? Is it?
Yeah, I think board policy, standard operating procedures kind of came up in the summary. And then I think what it also does is it's like a release valve of pressure on your administrators and your teachers. I think that it came up as a place that was heavy on people's hearts, just that they're working really hard and want to make sure that everybody's proud of them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then common assessments, the actionable steps there are, okay, you've got this great tightly aligned curriculum. How is every fifth grade teacher going to assess this scale? And everyone needs to do it the same way. And then we need to sit down together and look at those results at regular intervals. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You just want to draw this presentation out, it's not long enough.
You bet, you bet.
Okay, social science process. So really quickly, we started this process in August. We wrapped it in April. We had a combination of in-person meetings, virtual meetings, departments worked together, individuals worked. And I just put this up here because I want you to see, this is how many of your teachers and instructional coaches and administrators gave time in addition to their regular teaching jobs to help make these recommendations. And I think this is also important to note because it speaks to the systems in our district that no one person is making these recommendations, right? It's people who are doing the work with the kids and see how we can better get those goals. So huge thank you to district people. Yes. Okay. So this is small, but that's all hyperlinked. Okay, so what I have here, the existing scope and sequence. This is the curriculum that we've been teaching for the last 5 years. Okay, this link one is what we're proposing. So you can kind of look back and forth, but I'll summarize what those changes are. People who are new to this, what this map illustrates is the learning journey for our kids here in Mattoon as it relates to social studies. We have a map like this for every subject area. So as kindergartners, the first unit is cooperation in social studies. And the second is the local community and so on and so forth until we get through high school. So here are our proposed changes. Oh, I guess I go to materials and then I'll talk changes. In kindergarten through second grade, we are not requesting materials. The reason for that is because next year is literacy, and in our early, primary years, we are going to use our literacy materials to help develop content knowledge. So we don't need social studies book to teach, about the community and cooperation rules and holidays. So K2, you're not going to see as much change simply because we're going to get our literacy materials and then we're going to decide what needs to change in social studies. Does that make sense? 3 through 5, though, we are recommending Sabbaths. It is on display. So all of this stuff is actually, it's like you sort of get blind to it. That's why it's been out there since April. So I would encourage anybody between now and the next meeting, you can actually get the books, you can look at them, you can table contents, you can read whatever you'd like to read, look at it all in there. In 6 through 8, we are recommending McGraw-Hill, and it is also on display out there. In high school, we're making a recommendation to buy new materials for sociology, psychology, and American history, just those 3 classes. Wow, there's high school textbooks are expensive. Okay, so here we have a little snapshot of what the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade materials look like. I put some notes in the presentation for just board members. You can look down at the bottom to read what really is changing. One thing I want to point out in the intermediate years, which is 3, 4, 5, we are developing literacy skills and critical thinking skills as we're teaching social science. So they're learning history, they're learning geography, and as they learn, you can see we are developing those literacy skills. That's going to help us in a lot of different areas. So that was important to the committee. In 6th grade, we're going with world history, voices and perspectives. 7th and 8th is using U.S. history, also voices and perspectives. So McGraw-Hill in our middle school, this is either updated text. We are not buying a whole new textbook for 8th grade. Again, just like 3 through 5, what you'll see in these, there's a lot of critical investigation. So what that asks our students to do is read a primary source document or do some reading of grade level content, more sophisticated text, and then apply it in investigation. So do some group work, collaboration to master those content skills. So we're excited about that. These are our high school texts that we are recommending. American History and Honors is a required junior course. Psychology is an elective, it's a semester, and Social is an elective, it's also a semester, so we're updating those books. The costs. Drum roll, I'm just kidding. Our 3 through 5 is $81,000 for 6 years. I linked the full quote. So board members, you can click on it, you can see everything that's gonna buy us. This covers 6 years worth of materials and also licenses. A lot of things, and this is post-pandemic, a lot of things now are so interactive. We don't want to use our computers all day. Our teachers do a great job of not relying on computers all day, but there are some things that computers can do. They're really cool, like videos to take you back into ancient times and just more immersive experiences, so it's intentional choices. So that buys us those seats for 6 years, which will get us through the next time we need a social science adoption. In 6 through 8, our costs are $77,000 for 6 years. Again, I linked the full quote. And at the high school level, it's $62,000, a little bit over for 6 years, and that quote is there. So our grand total for this adoption is $220, almost $221. That will be covered as budgeted from Title I, Title IV, and the curriculum supply budget. So our estimation for everything except for K-5 literacy is around $250,000. So we're really happy that this came in a little under budget. It's a lot of money. And just be prepared because K-5 literacy is next year. That's going to be a little bit bigger. Yeah. I want to poll here to see if there's any questions from the board about the money side of things. All right. Are you good with looking at those maps, or do you want me to go more in detail? All right, moving on. So our recommendation, administration, our instructional coaches, which I need to just take a second to recognize them. I try to do this every meeting because our coaches are doing such great instructional leadership work in our buildings, and we're really lucky to have them. But we and the teachers on the social science committee recommend approval of all the scales and materials as presented. No action will take place tonight, so you'll have from now until the next board meeting to really get in there. Please call me if you have questions. If you want to come look at chapters together, we can look at it. I can show you the websites and all those things. So we'll ask for action on this next week.
Sure. I do have a question, Christy. When you talk about the curriculum maps, I've seen these and they're great. I mean, does the community have, where do they find those?
Okay, let's do that. Do you guys care if I take a little word walk real quick? Okay, let's just do that. Like,
On
you know,
the
like,
website.
yeah, let's just do a little demo. It's pretty easy. Say it's easy, but maybe it's so. If you go to a web page, just go to our web page. Okay, and then Katie and Kelly have done such a good job updating this and trying to make it as intuitive as possible. So a lot of the content stuff, first of all, can't tell us to register. Please register. I'm telling myself, I don't think I've registered my kid yet. Okay, they're coming, whether you guys want them to or not. Okay, so most of the time, if you're like, oh, I want to find something, if you hit that menu, there's search features and there's ways to do it. But for curriculum specifically, you're gonna scroll down here to where it says departments. And then we changed this a few years ago to be teaching and learning, because it was something else that was like, I think Neil, you brought that up, it was like, well, nobody really knows what student services or whatever fancy name it was, like teaching and learning. So if you click there, oops. You gotta pop that up. Okay, then you're gonna scroll down to, it's gonna talk a lot about a lot of different things. And as you come down here to curriculum, this is where you can see, like, everything our kids learn, you can see it all. We want you to see it all. This is actually something that not a lot of districts do. In fact, we were on a site visit 2 weeks ago, and we asked the district for their handbook that they use for something, and they're like, no, we don't share that with anybody, it's proprietary. Like, okay! We were thankful, in case they're watching, I forgot this is on TV, we were very thankful that they let us come. But anyway, we put our stuff on here. So, as an example, social science, they're all here, but if you just click on this, this will show you what our kids learn. I'll make it a little bit bigger, and it doesn't just stop at the topics. I love this. I love this. So if I zoom a little bit bigger, let's say I'm like, okay, cool. In second grade, they're gonna learn about scientists and inventors. What is that? Like, what are they actually learning? You can click on this, and it will take you to these learning scales. And what these learning scales do is they show what students need to know and be able to do in order to be considered proficient or pass that unit. I am not able to, wow, what's happening here? A 3.0 for us is the industry. So that's, whatever's in the 3.0, that's what we want them to be able to do. So you can specifically see, in this instance, what they're learning. They need to be able to describe the achievements of major scientists and inventors, for example. And then the stuff in the 2.0, sometimes those are like skills that build up to allow them to do that. So if kids can't do this, our teaching staff is able to sort of diagnose, okay, well, what do I maybe need to work with them more on to get there? And this, every subject area. So no secrets. Like, we want you to know, because it's exciting for parents to be able to sit down and say, okay, tell me about George Washington Carver, which that was his classical question a couple weeks ago. Okay. Does that make
Yes, I think that the community, I encourage parents to take a look at it. I mean, it's fascinating, and you see what all your kids are learning.
Yeah. Okay. So that one will be updated after board action. We'll put the new map up. Okay. Next. Course additions. Okay. These are the things we are adding for next year. This is going to make you almost want to go back to high school. We're updating our Honors Math 3 scales. We updated all of our math skills last year. Becca Craft kept working with the high school math department, and we have finished Honors Math 3. We are adding American Sign Language 3, which is incredible. And at the CCC meeting, they're like, hey, maybe we could add 4 also. So there might be an opportunity for our kids to get 4 years. We're so lucky to have that partnership. We're also adding an elective ACT prep class, and we're adding more welding. It's a dual credit class, so now kids can get one credit and credit. Middle school, we have lit circle additions. In elementary, we have STEAM scales revisions. STEAM stands for science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. It's a really cool class where they do a lot of fun things. Lit, we have a lot of course codes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay, Math 3. Why are we making these changes? So we are making these changes so that our honors students don't just move faster, they go deeper into the subject area. These are really rigorous standards. By the time kids finish this Honors Math 3, they are well positioned for any college level math. We approved Honors Math 1 and 2 last year, so we're just updating this one. Here are the specifics. I'm not going to read through all these, the board has these, but, and we're not going to take action really right now anyway, so we have time to work through it all. Just like based on Cheryl's question, those scales I just showed you, this is what this looks like for Honors Math 3. So if you want to feel a little rusty in your math, I invite you to take a look at radical functions. Be my guest. We'll do a little performance assessment at the next meeting. Additional courses at the high school. The ACT prep class. Really kudos to Rich and his team for looking at ways to continue supporting the development of students for this college entrance exam. We did a lot of things this year by embedding opportunities for them to practice in class, but next year we're gonna add a class that they can take for actual credit. So when we add a class, it's very exciting.
That's what I was thinking.
I know it is very exciting. Okay, so just FYI, when we add classes, new board and community, we can't just make up a class. We have to align a class to an Illinois State Board of Education course code. It's like a 400-page document, and it says these are all the things that school districts are able to teach if you can develop a class to match it. So the high school staff selected this course code, standardized test prep, as an elective for kids to continue prepping for ACT. It's an option for juniors. It's a semester-long class. These are hyperlinked, so you all can dig a little bit more deeply to see what they're actually doing. The headline is kids are practicing that same type of high-level reading and analytic writing that they're expected to do on ACT. That only strengthens their literacy skills that show up in our English classes and math classes, so we feel like it's not just a test prep class, but if kids want to take it and want to get more prepared for that test, we should be offering them credit. You'll also notice that goal setting piece, which you're familiar with by now, is something we do with our kindergartners or preschoolers all the way up through high school. So they're setting goals based on their current scores. This year, all of our juniors had a seat. We had coaching nights that were optional. So we had some kids show up at night to get additional tutoring. This year, we did that with subject area experts. So if they were coming on a math night, they were with a math teacher. If they were coming on an English night, they were with an English teacher. And if they couldn't come because they were in extracurriculars, they still had that seat on their laptop that they could continue engaging with so that they could see that their efforts really could predict or influence their scores. So next year, what we're proposing is that this is another way. So it's an addition. We're going to keep doing what we're doing, and we're going to add this as an optional course as well. Rich, anything to add on that?
No, I just, hats off to our junior staff that worked with this program. We had some just do an unbelievable amount of work with kids in this program and tracking like the efficacy of it and how it helps from fall, because we do a fall ACT administration so students can get comfortable with that, to that spring administration with results coming back now and seeing, okay, all that time and effort that we put in and what exact strategies with which kids and how did it pay off. And then obviously that's informing how we're going to move forward with our kids.
Yeah, a little sneak peek, our ACT early data is looking really good. Yeah, so it was an elective, pending approval, we would like to offer this in the fall. So we'll be back next month to ask for that approval. ASL 3, I mentioned this. This will also be a capstone course. So all of our advanced world language classes, we want those to be capstone. Again, just for general information, a capstone class is something that a student takes and it allows them to still be eligible for SUMA upon graduation. So this really matters when we start getting into that process of selecting classes. You know, we were just talking about this today at our coaches meeting. Like, this is the thing that happens when we start getting in high school. So our goal is to make sure that no classes are a barrier to that. So if it is an advanced class that matches the rigor required of capstone, we want that to happen. So that is being recommended. This is the course code. So I did tell you earlier, we have to have a course code, so that is it. And we're also recommending that it is a capstone class. Welding, oh my goodness, it feels like not that long ago, we were just kicking off, like adding welding booths at the high school. Remember, we went on all those visits and it was like, wow, what if we could have this? Guys, we have a wait list for this at our high school, and other high schools would love to be able to send students, and businesses would love it if we continued having students come out with these abilities. So, building on our current program, we are going to offer a dual credit program so that students will get Lakeland credit while they're getting high school credit, and they'll end up with additional certifications. So that's the high-level summary there and all the course codes that are relevant. And I think that gets us to the high school. These are our reasons. Just check this out, you guys. In the 24-25 school year, first semester we had 110 students in welding. Second semester we had 93, and requests for the 25-26 school year are already past what we're able to see. Yeah, it's really exciting. So we're thankful for the opportunity. We're thankful for Carl's ability and the team's ability to kind of spread the teaching load around. At any point, Carl might be teaching 3 classes at the same time. So he'll have a class of like 12, 15 kids, and there's 3 different classes going on, kind of like what happens at Lyft. And so just, I mean, our staff is just amazing. So, and this is the textbook. So
Does
you
he
guys-
have anybody in his classroom helping him? Or is it just him?
No, it's just him. Yeah.
He is awesome.
He is awesome. And he, I will say, like when he came and presented at CCC, those of you who were there, you can tell he's one of those people who is living purpose. It's like his talents are intersected perfectly with his position. And it's just like a really cool thing to see. So he's great. Okay, that's all the high school stuff. Any questions on high school? We're heading toward the home stretch. Okay. I do want to spend the time that it deserves on his literature circles. We had a team of English teachers at middle school who put their heart and soul into this work, and their purpose is to provide choice and voice to middle school students. And so they did a lot of work this year. What I have on here, these are the titles that we are recommending added as historical fiction lit circle books. And this is just a little screen grab. Anytime we're adding a novel to be considered as part of our curriculum, we do this justification form. So you can read in detail about all of those between now and the next month. We also will be happy to give you books if you want to read them. We should give Mr. Ducky, you said you're a history guy, you should hook up with all of those. I just want to note, like, these are the, oh, sorry, gosh. These 3 teachers, first of all, how beautiful that slide, they do that. I would never be able to make this. This is like amazing, but these 3 teachers led this charge, and this is one of my favorite things from CCC this year because this is their why. Like, talk about why they're doing all this work and why they're advocating for it. I just think it speaks to the type of educator that we have. So appreciate their work. These slides, next slides, tell you a few things for you to look at on your own, what the book is about. And then part of our process in recommending books is that we have multiple reviewers. So we have an administrator and teachers all read to say, yes, we feel like this matches our standards and is appropriate. So here are the standards that are taught. So we will recommend that these 4 texts are approved as lit circles to accompany the Watson's Go to Birmingham, which is the whole class novel that's being done. I think that's so good. So good. Any questions on that? Okay. Elementary STEAM class. So our elementary teachers, this is Jenna Hilligoss and April Drake are our STEAM teachers at the elementary schools. This is our, oh gosh, 4th year? Is it 4th? 5th? No, because we did it after, did we do it after? 4th. Yes, 4th, yeah. Okay, this is our 4th year. I invite you to take a look at the scales and the experiences. Starting in kindergarten, we have kids engaging with the engineering design process. We have kids in 1st grade starting with coding. They're doing experiential learning. They're doing robotics. They're doing the 4 C's, typing, and then we integrate growth mindset all the way through. So this is what kids get once a week in both our elementary schools. This year we also added power, which is going to be math class, and next year that will be at both elementary schools full time. So just great experiences for our students. So I invite you to look at that. If you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And I think this last section, I'm just going to zip through because they're all course code changes. There's a couple sequence changes, but for the most part. So as you know, LIFT became an area career center. Yay, exciting. And many of our courses there are eligible to have a CTE course code. And I think I have that written here, why that matters. Headline, if we offer CTE courses with the right number, the right state board number, we are eligible for increased funding through the Employment for Education Partnership, or EPs, right? So kudos to the LIFT staff. They combed through all their courses this year, very clear, but very detailed, and found all the ways we can maximize those opportunities for kids so that we can not only get more dollars, but it also streamlines their path. So they are getting sequential courses in a pathway. So you can take a look at those there. These are the 4 pathways that are affected by those changes. Again, I want to emphasize, this is not substantive changes. These are just course codes for the most part. So that said, these are the courses. This I feel like I do want to pause on. You're going to see this for a couple other pathways. AOE, area of emphasis. Again, Kate did a beautiful job sort of coming up with some graphics that illustrate this really nicely. But there's a new course progression in Lori Gear's pathway that just makes more sense from a student experience lens, and also for them to be a concentrator. That means that we've offered every step of the required CTE journey within our district. That's great for us, but it's also great for the schools who partner with us and come to Lift, because maybe they can offer step 1 in their district, but to be able to offer all 4 is that makes a big difference. And so a student from Arcola, let's say, who comes and does this, then that's funding that they get because their student completed the CTE pathway. So it's mutually beneficial. So that's in there for your review. Here's communications. Again, just sequence, sort of like tidying up the sequence and changing those course codes. But again, like, isn't it cool that our kids have the opportunity to take these classes? And then finally, in Dan's program, Energy and Manufacturing, we have some updates here. And I just want the board to know CCC approved all of these recommendations back in December. So they feel like it's good to go, our people feel like it's good to go, and we're happy to answer questions between now and the next month. So you also feel like it's good to go. Are there any questions?
Any questions from board members?
Christie, who maintains that living document? Who's the folks that maintain?
Oh, the map?
Everything, all the changes.
Yeah, so that is in a shared Google Drive. And just today, we were talking about once we get approval, making sure all those changes are uploaded. Because it's shared, I think I might be the owner, and then everybody has access. So once it's approved, we shut down editing access, so it can't be changed, but anyone can view it. But because we're a Google school district, it's great, everyone can kind of collaborate when we're in the building phase. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you, Dr. Hill. That's it. All right, we will move on to item 9, unfinished business. You'll recall last meeting, we had a conversation about committee assignments, board members, and sitting on these committees. I want to thank the board members. All of them took the time to have a one-on-one conversation with me to talk about what was important to them and to go over these assignments. And I'm going to go through the assignments, ask the board members to listen to make sure that you don't hear anything wrong without reciting. On the Associate Management Council, I'm the member, John Hedges is the alternate. For the Curriculum Coordinating Committee, Jake Uphoff is the member, Ashley Overton is the alternate. The Facilities Committee will consist of Dave Earp and John Hedges. The EC Governing Board Committee, Cheryl Armstrong with Jeff Branson as the alternate. The Collective Bargaining Committee will continue to be John Hedges and Ashley Overton. Well done on the recent contract review and the administration. The school calendar, Jeff Branson, Jake Uphoff will be the alternate. Technology, Ashley Overton, with Dave Earp as the alternate. Academic systems, that'll be Cheryl Armstrong and myself. Culture systems, that'll be Dave Earp and Ashley Overton. Finally, leadership systems, that will be Jeff Branson and John Hedges. I would also note for the members, mostly for myself, that this document also contains the meeting dates, which some board members struggle with to remember what dates were meeting and what dates were not. So it is they're all at 3:45. I'm not going to say that. You avail yourself of the dates.
One additional point that I'd like to share with Mr. Duckett here as well, that I believe it would be wise for the new Facilities Committee board members to also be a part of the Hall of Fame discussion and sit on that committee as well. So I think it makes some good sense for them to be kind of acclimated and listen to those community members that are passionate about that. So
Mr. Earp and Mr. Hedges.
The committee.
The facilities.
Okay, any questions on committee assignments? Okay,
So we have wrapped up the substantive business that we will do in public. The board is going to go to executive session. After we return from executive session, no substantive action will be taken. We'll simply it'll be a motion to adjourn and roll call, so we'll simply be. So you're welcome to stick around as always if you'd like to spend more time in this room. Otherwise, thank you all for attending and we will see you next. We need a motion to go into executive session. We have a motion. Cheryl Armstrong. Second from Ashley Overton. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Well, appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, guys. Hey, let's shoot the fight. We're going upstairs. We're going upstairs.